afternoon, everybody. Today we are doing two things, or working on two vehicles at least. On the Blazer, I'm going to start on some very mild body work and, well, paint work, I guess, no body work. I've never done paint before at this level, like actually finished paint job, but I'm just going to touch up under the hood. And so I'm going to start by sanding down some of the scratches that were underneath the battery tray, some scratches that were underneath the airbox. And I'm going to do that from probably like a 1000 grit all the way up to 2000 grit because I have the paint. I'm just waiting on the airbrush. So when I get it, I can do the airbrush and just touch it up and then do some airbrush clear and maybe it'll work. I have no idea, but it's under the hood, so it's not that big a deal. And it will be covered by the new battery trays when they get installed. So it's not a huge thing, but it's going to be really good practice for me to see how hard that is to do. Other than that, I do have something for the Humvee, so we are going to work on the Humvee a little bit today. And that may be it. So we'll go ahead and get started. So the first thing I have to do here and kind of all along the support, the core support here, is vacuum it up because there's a lot of metal shavings, there's a lot of little rust pieces, and then once I vacuum it up, I'll spray it with some water, make sure I've kind of flooded out anything that remains, and then we can start looking for what we need to touch up. So I have it all vacuumed up, and I always notice little things when I'm messing with this truck. For instance, see the bolt that holds the inner fender to the front core support? They're the galvanized, just steel bolts. Nothing wrong with that. Let's go over to the driver's side. Driver's side is like the factory type bolt. So it's just, you know, it's the details, which there were no details taken in this truck that I can tell. But like, look at here. Like, that drives me crazy. You everybody see that rust? A little surface rust to the right of the bolt. All right, let's clean it up. All right, sorry for the weird camera angles, but all I'm doing here is I'm just heavy misting everything, and then I will come back with a microfiber cloth and just wipe everything down. And I'm just trying to get all the dust and whatever else, you know, that's why I vacuumed it up. I didn't want to scratch it. I'm not outside, so I can't exactly soak it with a hose. So spray it like that, and then I'm just going to come back with a microfiber cloth and just try to get up all the dirt and the grime and the rust. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but just the garbage that's down there. So I've gone through and I've cleaned everything up. Let's see if I can get down here, and you know, that black mark right there, that's where the paint, well, it's crinkled right there. That's where the paint's crinkled and come off. It's the only place on the car I've found that the paint's like that, so I don't know what caused that, but I'm going to sand it down and we'll paint over it. There was a bunch of metal shavings back in here, of course, because they just drilled stuff and let it sit. There's a bunch of scratches, you know, dings and dents like that, and they're everywhere. But that's what we're going to have the airbrush for, so hopefully I can fix a lot of this. There's a lot on the inside. You know, that huge panel, I have no idea why they use such long bolts on that, or I don't know. These are kind of obnoxious, and then that plate's got to be taken off. I'm going to go ahead and take the headlights out, because another thing that's going to have to be done is I'm just going to have to, this was actually body color, but you could see through the grill it was body color, and it's still body color up here. But I'm going to take this off, take the headlights out, wash this off real good, because I'm going to end up respraying that flat black, and that way when I reassemble it all, it should be done correctly. I have gotten the headlights out. I have cleaned up, which it doesn't look horrible, but I know looking right here where the base or the clear is coming through that it wasn't prepped, wasn't sanded or anything. It was just sprayed over, because all in here it's coming through. So I'll prep it as good as I can and respray it, so I can just start from scratch. I mean, at this point, I'm just going pretty much from the grill, and we're just going to go to the back of the truck and fix everything along the way. But this is a little bit more detailed because I've got the wiring harnesses involved in this, and then under the dash is going to be extremely detailed, but and of course the motor and things like that. But it's coming along, doing well. So now what I'm going to do is I'll peek in here. Like this stuff I'll start to sand down. Can you see it? Yeah, in there where the paint is coming off. Little spots like that one, you know, I'll go through. I'm going to wet sand those. That way, I'm just wet sanding the clear coat. You know, of course there's some metal in some places, but I'm just doing that now so I can come back when I get the airbrush and just hit all the spots with the airbrush, clear over them one more time, and hopefully get everything from just about like the bottle forward done. And then once I get that done on the engine compartment side and up top here, I'll tape everything off and come back and spray with a flat black, or that might even be a satin black, everything behind the grill. And then I can start working on getting the grill repainted, reassembled, all of this stuff that got chipped up and beat up, start getting it put back together correctly. I found, you know, where the headlights go together, let me show you. Started to pull them apart, and some of them had you know, the new, I had bought all new plastic and hardware and everything, and then this found its way in there somehow, so it didn't fit. And once you undid the spring, the headlight bucket just kind of fell out. And let's not ever forget the epicness of that wire being completely exposed, which I don't know. I have no idea. Who cares at this point? Let's just fix it. So I'm going to sand all that, get it ready for paint, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to start with a 1500 wet, dry, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to sand that. And again, I know nothing about this stuff, so I could totally be doing this wrong. Let me get an edge on it real quick. If you're a body guy watching this channel and you're thinking that idiot has no clue, you're absolutely right. But I would love if you could say, hey man, that's not how you do that. This is how you do that. And then I'll do it that way. But I've been watching YouTube videos, so I'm practically a pro. I'm just gonna let the sandpaper do the work. I'm starting with 1500 because you can always go to, you know, coarser. And I can see it cutting the paint up. It's hard to see, but it's definitely doing something. And I'm just gonna do this and go back and touch it up with when the airbrush comes, and then we'll clear over it again, and hopefully it fixes it. Now I will tell you, luckily, it's in a it's gonna be under the battery pretty much, so nobody will ever see it really, but I'll know it's there. So unlike the Kenwood Rod Shop who did this garbage, I will know it's done right, and so I won't ever have to worry about hiding anything. So as you can see by looking here and here and there, I've gone through and I've sanded all of it down, and I'm going to go back with an airbrush, touch it up, and then buff it. Now I did 1500 grit initially, then went down to 1000 grit, so when I get done and I've touched it all up, and I've clear coated it, I can go back with a buffer, or just buff it with a cutting compound, and that should polish up again, and so should most of that. I didn't want to go through the clear coat other than on the metal. I wanted to go through it, and then on the other side, I showed you that a little earlier, but yeah, I mean it's a lot more places than I initially thought, especially on the back side of this. There's a good bit of bare metal showing, so I had to go and sand a lot of it. But hopefully when it's all said and done, I will have learned how to airbrush, and it'll look good because you can see, I mean, that when I started sanding that with 1000 grit, man, that black was coming off like crazy, and then same with all around these, but man, it is so smooth now. And I'll go through and tape the back of all of this and then just blast this with like a satin black to get it all painted. And it's so thin, you know, I'll probably do 2 or 3 coats just to get it done right. So that's all I'm going to do today on the Blazer, because I'll be honest with you, I'm about to die. I haven't eaten anything and I'm really hot. Now let's get to the Humvee. So what did I get for the Humvee? First thing, I got a nice Winters shifter, which let's go around and look at that. Winters shifter. So I'm gonna have to make this work. This is actually the same one that's in the Blazer. Where is it? Boom. So that's gonna be the shifter for the Blazer. I mean, for the Hummer. I'm not gonna have it in this big plastic thing. I'm gonna put this just from like here up where this is currently. And so that'll be that shifter, and then the advanced adapters comes with a shifter. It'll go right there. So what else did I get? Because I'm not doing that today. That's a big project. I'm not doing that until later. So let's go see what we are doing today. Remember when I told you I organized my air-conditioned space? Oh my God. So got an oven for powder coating. Got an extra set of 43-inch tires. First world problems. We'll talk about those later. What did I get? Over here. All right, let me walk around. And new headlight. Oh wait, that ain't the right one. New LED truck lights for the Humvee. So let me unwrap these. Ta-da! Let me get the camera. So these are Truck Lite LED headlights for the Hummer, ready to go. Got the plugs all in them. These are used. They are not new. They are off of a Humvee. I got them on the swap Facebook page, Humvee swap or whatever. So let's go put these things in. I can't use them, you know, the Humvee doesn't run, but it'll have killer headlights. All right, let's go. I can't wait. Oh God, I'm working in a very confined space because I've moved the Humvee, but let's see if I can figure this out. I've done this before. You take off the, whoop, there we go. You take off flathead screws, 1, 2, 3. That takes the ring off, and then once the ring's off, I think the light just falls out. And then in the bucket, there are 3 connectors. I just have to try to mark them to make sure that I replace them as they're supposed to be replaced. So I'm gonna turn on the headlights, make sure they both work, brights and lows. That way when I put the LEDs in, if they don't work, I know it's the lights and not the truck. Let's get going. All right, we're gonna do this one first in case I screw it up. You can't see it. And then we'll do that one, passenger one down there. So I can't remember, I think these come all the way out. Let's see. No, maybe not. They're kind of, don't drop them in the sand proof, if I remember correctly, where they're attached to this ring. Man, I have got to eat or drink something. I'm about to die. Actually, when this one comes out, I'm gonna go grab a drink out of the air-conditioned space, as we call it. So that ring comes off. I told myself last time I did this, I need to paint these, but now that I have a powder coater, I'm going to powder coat these, so that'll be a different day. And then this comes out, la-ti-da. And then I need my phone, which I'm recording on, to take a picture, because these are kindly numbered. 91 is on the bottom, 18 top right, and 17 top left. So it's 17, let's see, 17, 18, 91. 91. Highest numbers at the bottom, which is odd. 18 top right, 17 top left. I keep saying this so I'll remember them. If not, I can look back at the video. Boom, boom, and Boom. I will tell you, connections look good. I am going to put a little dielectric grease. And look at that. If you look in there, they're actually numbered in the bucket. God, I love these things. They're so easy to work on. So that's the headlight. Works perfectly fine, but it's not LED, so I am changing them. But before I change that, I'm going to go get a drink before I pass out in front of the camera. All right, I'm back. Oh, I got my hydrate. Booyah. I got my my dehydrate. Oh yeah, great drink. Pro tip, when you're swapping out your headlights, get dielectric grease, even if you buy it in a little packet, and wipe it around the terminal. Don't let it touch the actual electrical connection, because dielectric grease, undue to popular belief, does not conduct electricity. It actually hinders the conduction of electricity, and therefore it's no good for electrical connections. But it's great for these boots because it helps it come on and off way easier. And the reason you put this on is for when you're deep water fording, which this Humvee will not do, not because it has an LS in it, because it's not a marine deep fording Humvee. They don't all go deep water. I learned that after I bought it. If I'd have known that, I would have waited and got one that did. But when you put dielectric grease around those terminals, never have I felt more like a gynecologist in my life. I will put this in, and now these will slide on, and they will be watertighted. Oh, they're using plastic. 91. 16. Told you I was dehydrated. 91. I'm looking for 17. That's 18. Blue is 17. So you're going to go on this one. Oh yeah, that was right on there. You're 18, right? 18. Right on there. Right on there. Oh wait, that ain't on. 17 went haywire on me. Well, it was a little crooked. Oh yeah, it's a little crooked. Oh no, look at this. The washer came off. That's not good. So, the way these connectors are put together, come on. There we go. They go on, but they have these little washers that keep them from doing what this one is doing right now. And I think the washer just goes on right here. But now I've done exactly what I told you not to do. I've covered the terminal in dielectric grease. Alright. I wonder if that's how that goes. I may cut this part out. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, it just goes. Okay, never mind. I did it wrong. Get off of there, please. Please. Ah. It just goes under the wire, which is really weird, but whatever floats your boat. Let's see if I can get that. Perfect. All right. Repaired. Man, that was one of those crucial things that you have to know. I'm just kidding. Put this in. I think they're all in. Let's hope for the best. We're not working on the Blazer, for God's sakes. Ha ha ha. Do that. They have the little tabs that fit in there. I told you I'm doing this because if I screw it up, you won't know it. Man, how many times did I screw that up? I'll tell you, that headlight sure ain't in there right. At least if it's in there, it's really loose. See if I can't get this thing on. I'm wondering if it takes a different bucket. Nope, it doesn't. They make a drill that does this, you know. It's not in the hole. All right. There she is. Welcome back to the game. going to tighten them up all the way. I know I got my back to you, sorry, until I test it. Looks like it fits. Let's go try it out. 3, 2, fire. Wow. Oh man. I got to show you the difference in this. Well, let me check the brights real quick. That might be bright. Oh, wow. That is insane. So freaking bright. All right. Pause video. Worth it? Look at that. LED. Old. LED. Old. LED. That's totally worth it. That's killer. Looks good too. I mean, that's 90% of why you do it. All right, I'm gonna test the brights one more time because they didn't really get like brighter, but they just went bigger, I guess. I don't know, let's try it one more time and look. Yeah, it's, yeah, I guess that bottom one lights up whenever they go brighter. Huh. Pretty cool. The bottom one, yeah, the bottom one's off, so I guess the bottom one's the bright, and that one by itself is the norm. So now I'm going to disconnect this one and replace it. Let's see what the difference in the brights are. I didn't even look at that. Oh, yeah, you can't even tell that one over there has really gotten bright. So, telling ya, best. Well, it's not the best upgrade ever, but it's pretty dadgum close. Now I'm gonna get you into this one. Me and you are gonna do this one together. So let me move the camera around. So I mean, now that I'm an expert and all, this is gonna be super easy. Again, for you more modern folks, there's a drill that does this same job right here. La-ti-da-ti-da. So the screws go in there when you put that back. The lights have these tabs that the LEDs will sit in. That's hot now. Good job, Matt. I like to kind of circle it as I pull because when these come off, like, they are a pain in the ass. Oh, look at that exposed wire. What is this, Kenwood rod shop? All right. That washer is supposed to keep it from doing that. Let's look at this connection. You can push right through. And there's this washer, and that's why it did it. So that's the washer I was dealing with on the other one. And that ring is supposed to sit, but the washer goes under here. But in this instance, that washer may ground it out and cause an issue. So I'm glad we're doing this. I mean, oh, well, I just dropped it, but it sits on the wire like that, and then the bottom of that pushes against it, and that's how that works. But, oh, listen. Hell, that thing's broken anyway. Okay, well, I didn't realize that was a bad headlight. Whatever. So these are heavier. It's gonna hurt performance. Let's do the dielectric grease thing. A little bit on your finger, and all we're going to do is go around that rubber, that black part, with dielectric grease. This will help it disassemble easily next time, and you don't want to blob it right like the people who do spark plugs and they just throw dielectric grease right on the plug end. That works because you're not a high horsepower application. But that ain't how you're supposed to do it. And you don't have to disagree with me about it. You can disagree with the head engineer at Holley about it. So I know he ain't wrong. And I'm just listening to what he says. All right, they're numbered in there. Can you see that? Yeah, I think you can. 17, 18, 91. So 17, check. The 18's the red. You're making this kind of difficult being right beside me. 18. Get in there. There we go. Check, check. Get that one on. Should be in there now. Just gonna curl those up, throw that in. Now that has tabs, it has to sit a very specific way. Now I'm getting some pushback on the back end of this. So let's see if I can. There we go, perfect. Now with my 3 hands, I'm gonna try to line up where the screws might end up. Oh, did I do it first? Oh, geez Louise. Holy cow, hold on to your hats. I'm throwing screwdrivers. Whew. All right, so I still haven't tightened all 3 on the other side, but listen to this. Don't Hercules tighten these things. You just get them tight. They'll be nice and happy. They won't come loose. For some, ooh. I bet that's engineering why they all point straight up. Let me tighten the other 3, and then I'm gonna blow your mind. Okay, here we go. You ready? Boom! Blinded by the light. Let's try the brights. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Man, oh 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 man. So that's it, guys. I'm going to go enjoy my grape drink. And that is awesome. Totally worth it. I think I got these headlights for 200 bucks, $100 each, which is really good for LED headlights. But yeah, I've got to get out of here. I'm too hot, about to die, need some food. Thanks for watching again. Make sure to subscribe. We're going to keep building the Humvee. I'm just waiting on parts. And of course that K5 Blazer. Talk to you later.